What's up, y'all? We're back for Christmas in person.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
My name's Caesar.
And I'm Martha.
Welcome to the 34th episode of Inner Wider Screen, where
two idiots who know nothing about movies talk about movies.
before we get into today's episode, make sure if y'all haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a lot there. You get a lot through the videos. So make sure if you're on there to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for all who have done so far. We just hit 30.
Wow. 30
I looked earlier. I saw 30. I was like, oh, cool.
Look at us. We are on the come up. We're
2022 is going to be our blow up year.
2022 is going to be your year. We're going to get 32
subscribers. That would be major growth for our channel. I'd be on board for that. That'd be amazing.
I think we need to do some major upgrades because that is a
if we don't start hearing from potential sponsors at that point,
honestly, I mean,
I'd be really disappointed. Anyways, Martha, what can jump higher than a building?
What can jump higher than a building? What can jump higher? Jump. What jump?
Higher jump.
Jump. High jump. 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 Okay. What can jump higher than a building? What jumps is the first question that we need to answer.
Okay, break it down for me. Break it down.
So let's break it down.
All
okay,
right.
Make it a little easier to understand. So what jumps higher, or what jumps? So what jumps? Jumps. Frog jump. Jump. 21 Jump Street.
Ding ding ding.
That's it. That's the answer. 21 Jump Street. Okay. Something that jumps higher than a building. What jumps higher than a building?
That's what I'm asking you.
What jumps higher than a building? Okay. Well, how big is the building?
I don't know that information.
Well, what are you doing asking me these questions if you don't know the full details?
All I know is the question and the answer. I don't even know the details, and neither do you.
Okay. So, what jumps higher than a building? Jumps. Well,
you do realize we got a show to go on with.
So if someone were standing on top of a building and they jumped, they would therefore be jumping higher than a building. But something tells me that is not the answer.
Because you don't know the answer.
Hey, I don't, but you don't need to call me out for it.
So the answer is nothing because buildings can't jump.
You know, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all. We're finally back in person. A week a little late because we were a little busy this week. So we're playing catch up though. We're going to double up on episodes this week. So this is the first of 2 episodes this week to celebrate our Merry Christmas.
Merry Chrysler.
Right. All that. Yeah. So we can't wait. And this week we were doing Home Alone. So that's going to be very fun. But before we get into that, so I was thinking since we were doing 2 episodes, the next episode we can get into what we have been seeing since the time we've been gone. Okay. So if you didn't hear, we are now in award season for film. It's a big time of year. I love this time. So kind of
the time of year I get confused.
Some of the earlier, yeah. So but here I'm gonna try to get you a little knowledgeable about it.
Okay.
So yesterday, both the Golden Globe and Critics' Choice nominations were announced. However, I think the Golden Globes will not be on TV this year. Do you remember what happened with the Globes? Basically, they were under a lot of fire because it was revealed that they had no black members.
Oh, yeah.
In their very tiny little nomination group. So they're not going to be on TV this year, but they're still holding an awards ceremony and they have nominations. So we'll look at those. And then Critics' Choice is just it's a group of basically just film critics voting on these. Okay. So I'm not going to go through all the categories. I just want to go through the movies that are in these categories, and I just want to see first. I'm not going to ask, have you seen them? Because I know you haven't. But
there's no point in that.
Which ones have you heard of? And if you haven't heard of them, just keep an eye on them as we move towards awards season and once we see them and stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so have you heard of Belfast?
That is the one that I, is top of my list that I need to see.
Okay, I have seen that one. Coda?
That sounds familiar.
So that one is on Apple TV Plus, and it's about a hearing teenage girl that is a child of deaf adults, which is what Coda stands for.
Oh, maybe that's why.
So I won the big prize of Sundance and all that. Dune. Have you seen Dune? You haven't watched Dune, but you've heard of it, right?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
Obviously.
Okay. King Richard.
I really want to watch that one.
I think it might still be on HBO Max.
It's still on HBO Max.
Okay, you might have a week to watch it.
Well, then this week I'm totally watching it.
Do that. The Power of the Dog. It just came out on Netflix with Benedict Cumberbatch, Kirsten Dunst. No?
I've not heard
It is a Western. I have not watched it yet, by the way, but I will soon.
Okay.
Don't Look Up.
I'm excited about that one.
That one hasn't come out yet, so that'll be on Netflix. Licorice Pizza.
Licorice Pizza.
It's Paul Thomas Anderson. Let's see, it has Alana Haim. Bradley Cooper's in it.
I've never heard of that.
That one comes out at the end of the month for us.
Okay.
So we'll see how that is. Tick Tick Boom.
Oh, that one looks so good.
It's been out for a while and I still haven't watched it.
I know, me either.
It's on
I
Netflix.
almost did, but then I got sidetracked. I was like, oh wait, I still have work I need to do.
West Side Story.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I actually did see West Side Story.
Yes, you did. I hate you. My dad also hates you for that, by the way.
Oh.
He was like, well, where was my invite?
I honestly could have seen it where him and I would have gone and you would have just...
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. Some of these other contenders here, Being the Ricardos is another one coming out.
Oh, yeah, that one looks good.
You've heard of that?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because it's like an I Love Lucy.
Yes, and Nicole Kidman is
Yes.
Lucille Ball. That's Aaron Sorkin. There is The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Ooh, that sounds
I did see this
interesting.
movie with Denzel and Frances McDormand. What else we got? The Lost Daughter is a movie coming out on Netflix. Olivia Colman, Dakota Johnson. Maggie Gyllenhaal directs. We have Spencer, Kristen Stewart.
Oh, that one.
Trying to see any other. In the Heights did get a nomination for Anthony Ramos.
Cheater! We believed in you. We trusted you.
Some of the other contenders I see here. Passing is another movie on Netflix. Okay, that's with the Globes. Let me look at Critics' Choice. Nightmare Alley is another one.
Oh, that one looks really good.
That comes out this weekend, actually. We'll definitely try to go see that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, House of Gucci, I guess, is a contender in some ways. There's also a movie called Cyrano, which is based off a musical based off a play with Peter Dinklage. Is that about it? That's about it in terms of the major contenders.
Okay.
So just keep an eye on those. Obviously, there's some other movies here and there, but those are like pretty much the major contenders for the Oscars coming up.
All of them.
Are you sure about that? Well, I'll tell you. So Belfast already came out. Coda's streaming. Don't Look Up is going to stream. Dune, I mean,
It will come.
kind of missed your window on that, but maybe you can catch up. King Richard's still streaming. I mean, a lot of these are streaming, which is good. So even if you don't get to watch all of them, I think you'll be able to watch a good amount of them.
Yeah.
But those are kind of the nominations that we're seeing. At least those are the movies involved. Like I said, I'm not gonna go through all these categories because it's just I don't want to get into in depth until we get closer to Oscar season. Which actually, now that I think about that, I don't know when they announce the nominations, but I'm pretty sure it is soon. What year are we in?
2021. Next year.
I put in Oscar nominations and it came up Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. He is all we need to know.
So it will be revealed on February 8th, which I actually thought it was going to be in January, but February 8th is when they announce the nominations.
February.
So hopefully by then too, we do want to do an episode eventually with like our top 10 movies of this year.
Okay.
So hopefully by then, around that time, we'll have actually
Watch 10 movies from this year.
Well, speak for yourself.
I am working on it. I actually, tomorrow, when we record our next episode, I will have a list of movies that I have
actually have seen recently?
outside of the movies that we are watching.
Exactly, because I think for a while it's just been the only things you've been
literally
watching.
had no time to do anything with my life other than school and work. So
but now we
have a break.
But we're finally done with school
Yes.
for the semester, so that'll be good.
So
and
I get to watch all the movies my little heart desires, but most of it's just going to be me just flipping through Netflix like, oh, I should watch that one.
yeah.
All right, look at the next title. Oh, I should watch that one. No, look at the
Which
next
is kind of funny because most of these, a lot of these movies are actually on Netflix, like in the awards race. They got a lot of contenders.
And I'm gonna flip through all the titles, and I'm gonna say, I should watch all of these.
Come February, Martha, which ones did you watch?
You know that one.
Anyway, literally, I feel like the only way I can get you to watch these movies is if we like do one for the podcast.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
But what we're doing this week for the podcast as our first movie during the Christmas season this year is Home Alone.
Boop, boop, boop.
This is our first director that we've covered twice on this show.
Oh, yeah.
This is directed by Chris Columbus. Mm-hmm. If you remember that name.
Yes, of course. He directed the first Harry Potter.
That too. Well, he directed the first two Harry Potter movies.
First two Harry Potters.
He also did the Home Alone sequel, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Ms. Doubtfire, and of course, the first Percy Jackson movie, which we did talk about. If you have not seen that episode, which at this point, who hasn't? It's our most viewed episode, apparently. We got like
so
thousands of views on it.
Yeah,
like for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like the worst movie we've watched on the show so far.
I know, but everyone was like, we need to
know what they think. This stars Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Hurt, and Catherine O'Hara. Released November 16th, 1990. A Christmas movie released around somewhat the holiday season.
Wow, that's a first.
That's a first.
Well, I guess maybe it was like a Halloween curse.
I think it was a Halloween thing because every Halloween movie we talked about was like summer or March.
Summertime, yeah. I just did not.
I don't know. It was definitely strange. $18 million budget, made $477 million worldwide. So at the time of its release, this was one of the highest grossing movies ever at the time.
I can see that.
It's pretty crazy for a movie like this, like this genre, because usually the big grossers now are like the big action Marvel movies, whatever.
Yeah.
Two
Well,
Academy.
Hey. Don't count this out as not an action movie. This is totally.
Oh,
an action
that's
movie.
good. Yeah, you're right. You're
Come
right.
on
We do
now.
get explosions, visual effects. Oh, right. This got 2 Academy Award nominations at the 63rd Oscars. It was nominated for Best Original Score and Best Original Song for the song "Somewhere in My Memory." And the synopsis reads: 8-year-old Kevin McAllister makes the most of the situation after his family unwittingly leaves him behind when they go on Christmas vacation. But when a pair of bungling burglars set their sights on Kevin's house, the plucky kid stands ready to defend his territory. By planting booby traps galore, adorably mischievous Kevin stands his ground as his frantic mother attempts to race home before Christmas Day.
Wow.
A little...
I feel like that's an accurate.
Honestly, it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty a lot more dramatic than I would have anticipated.
Hey, this is a very dramatic.
It is a very dramatic movie.
You
You're
go
right.
through all sorts of twists and turns. You have like the high stress moments of the mom. You get the stress moments of a kid being home alone and having to defend his house from
against these two
bumbling burglars.
I almost said bumbling bunglers and bumbling burgers.
Bungling burgers.
I can assume that for you, like for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, this was like a childhood staple.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I watched this movie several times. I've watched this movie every Christmas.
Pretty much every Christmas I was a kid.
Every Christmas since I was a kid. I mean, it's such an it's just a charming little movie. Like it's cute and it's sweet and realism that goes out the window, but it doesn't matter.
A little violent at the end.
A little violent, and who doesn't love that?
Who doesn't love a little violence in your Christmas movies?
Yeah, I mean, I love Home Alone. Home Alone 2, wonderful.
Alone 2
But those are the only ones ever made.
I think it's kind of weird that they stopped that too. Like
Yeah,
you would
that's
think
weird.
like they were so successful they would continue on, but no.
Nope, they
We
stopped.
only have 2 Home Alones. But yeah, so this is actually for me my favorite Christmas movie.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. I don't know, just the feeling of nostalgia I get from watching this, because I did watch this as a kid. I watch this every year, laugh my ass off. Like it's just it never fails to like charm me for Christmas and never fails to get me in that Christmas spirit. So this is that movie for me. And we're gonna get into why we feel that way. This is actually the first time I've really like kind of thought about why I like this so much.
Wow.
Like dissecting it a little bit.
We dissected.
I don't think there's a lot to dissect, but
Yeah, I was like, I don't see much there.
but not in terms of the messaging, but just like anyway.
This is very short movie notes I have actually.
Yeah, you only have 1 page. Okay, so first of all, to
First of all,
Home Alone. This score by John Williams, man. I mean,
it's iconic. You hear it and you know it.
like from the beginning, it's just like you hear it. It sounds like, I don't know. The thing I love about him is like his scores all sound kind of similar to each other, like Harry Potter and Star Wars and all that. But they're all their own thing. Like this is very much a Christmas score.
You got the bells in the back.
And then
It's Christmas, you know.
I'm like, I hear it. And it's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
It's just
Christmas
beautiful.
time. It is the vibes.
So basically, you get into there, and this starts off with the McAllister family. They're all in this big ass house, and they're getting ready for this vacation. It's all chaos. Joe Pesci is just a cop chilling there, basically just so he can find a plan to rob the place. And then we get introduced to Kevin, and we just know very early on that none of his family really likes this kid.
Yeah. So growing up, I like saw Kevin and I was like, hey, this poor guy, everyone hates him, and his family are a bunch of jerks, which they are. But
They are jerks to him, yeah.
But now that I'm older and I see how he behaves, I'm like, man, this kid's a little shit.
He's a little shit. He is a little annoying. I mean, he is annoying, but also like, I get where he's coming from, in the sense that, I mean, you're a kid that like you feel like no one's really paying attention to you or acknowledging you. Like, I get it, but also, I mean, you are being kind of a shit.
Yeah.
But I get it. I love the line though when he's like, "When I grow up and get married, I'm living alone."
Yeah. Me too.
Kevin.
Me too.
Yeah. So basically, he's just like not at all vibing with the family. The family's not vibing with him and everything like that. So so one of the early details though that's in this movie is him and Buzz and one of his other brothers look out the window and they see old man Marley.
It's always the creepy
old man. You obviously, like, you're supposed to be scared of him, but obviously we find out he's just misunderstood. But at the time, he's this creepy old man. You know, he I don't remember the story exactly what he tells them.
He's like a murderer with like his shovel, and that he killed his like family or something.
Like his trash can that's full of salt or whatever, like that's where he keeps the bodies and all that kind of stuff.
Of course, they're kids, and they're like, "Well, obviously, that's the truth." So
right, exactly. That's just what we know. So that is a character that we keep a tab on for later. But basically, just the things with Kevin and his family just get worse. The Buzz is, I mean, they're all assholes to him, but Buzz is probably the worst one out of all of them to him. And the uncle, probably.
I was gonna say the uncle really comes.
The uncle honestly pissed me off. I was like, honestly, if I had an uncle like you, I'd fucking hate you.
I would.
And then the whole thing about his brother Fuller, like, they said you're gonna sleep with him, but like, no, he's gonna wet the bed. And he gives him that look like when he's drinking his soda. But basically it kind of comes to Kevin. So he's like trying to fight Buzz in the kitchen, and then he like knocks over some milk and it gets all over the pizza, the passports.
And now everyone has a freak out, and then the whole kitchen just like burns down to the ground.
Basically, suddenly like
it escalated very
fast, especially when you have that many people and just And then that shot of everyone just like looking at him, I was just like, okay, honestly, I would fucking hate my family too. Like, if that
I would too if everyone blames me for that. But like, it's like, it wasn't only him.
It wasn't only him, but I guess, but also him as a kid, he's like still kind of a little shit about it. So it's like, I kind of get it.
I get it.
But it's, I don't know.
But they don't have to refer to it as a disease.
I know. Okay, that was my thing. He's acting out, like, but to be fair, they're all talking shit to him.
Yeah.
A lot of the shit they're talking is around his parents, and they don't say anything.
They don't do anything. And like, that's his cousins and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not even like he's like immediate family.
Right.
Like,
so it's like, honestly, if it was my parents, I'd be like, fucking don't.
Like, are you gonna help me out here?
Right. Honestly, like, you're looking at his kid. Yeah, you're Kevin looking at your parents, and they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. I'm like, fuck, they don't do anything about it. So then it reaches that whole fight because his mom's like, go upstairs, you're gonna stay there for the rest of the night. And he's basically like, well, I wish I never had a family. I wish like I could wake up and like you're all gone. Like, I'm all alone. Like, I don't want to see you again.
Disappear.
And, you know, he wakes up and
I made my family disappear. He's like, I made my family disappear. He's very happy about it.
So the reason why he ends up alone. So the power goes off overnight. So their clocks are turned off. So they miss their alarm. They sleep in. They're running their ass around the house.
It's a madhouse.
Madhouse.
Trying to get ready to go to the airport on time.
So clearly they're not completely focused on every little detail like they normally would be. And then this fucking kid, Mitch Murphy, I wrote down his fucking name.
Oh yeah, the neighbor.
Mitch fucking Murphy, double M, fucked up everything. Going in there and be like, what this? Oh, this is cool. And you think at first it doesn't mean shit, but then when they do the head count, a boop. He's one of the kids, and they feel like everything.
Well, see, you wrote down his name, and I wrote down Heather's name.
Who's Heather?
Heather was the older one counting the heads, and I wrote her name down because she's just so cool, and I like want to be her.
But she like
she's so sassy and like she messed up. But like she's so sassy and like I like it. I like her vibes.
Sure.
I want it. So.
All right, well, maybe they should make Heather the lead in the next Home Alone.
Yeah, I would like to see a spin-off of just about her.
Just about her.
What is she going through in life? Like, I want to know a little bit more about her.
That's fair. So yeah, they do make that flight, but obviously, like we said, Kevin's home alone. And like you said at first, he loves this shit.
He's like, I get to just like be a little adult. Because in his head, he really did just like make his family disappear.
Yeah.
It never crossed his mind.
Like, what happened?
Like why they're gone. He just knows like, okay, they're gone and I wish that they were gone. So obviously,
especially
Christmas miracle.
Yeah. Especially because like then he starts wondering like where they are in the house. Like he thinks they're hiding. Like they think they're playing some joke on him. So he's like, Buzz, like Mom. And then like at one point he gets out of the house and I think it's the bandits, their van outside. And he's like, oh, like they haven't left.
No.
Oh, whose was it? Whose cars was it?
So their cars were still in the garage because they all took
they took the shuttle. You're right. So
he
they're
was
like, oh,
well, the cars are still here, so like
they're still home.
Yeah, they must be here.
But honestly, so seeing him like all home alone though, I remember when I was a kid, I was like, I want that same feeling. Like being home alone, like doing whatever I want, eating whatever I want. Like, did you want that?
Absolutely. I got that.
I mean, you kind of got that. They kind of feel alone a lot.
My parents traveled a lot, so I do know exactly how.
So what was your experience like?
Absolutely wonderful. You get to just sit in silence, and it's just like, wow, it's so quiet. It's never quiet.
Appreciate the quiet every now and then.
You really do. You just it's wonderful. You get to. I mostly just live off grilled cheese sandwiches.
I still live off grilled cheese sandwiches.
I still do too.
You can't go wrong with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love how he's looking through like other people's rooms and stuff. Like he goes into Buzz's and looks through his drawers and he finds his magazine. He's like, no clothes on anybody. Sickening.
Sickening. I love it. Yeah, that's the perfect reaction to a Playboy magazine.
Playboy magazine. Yeah. Oh, this is another detail of this movie that I love. Is this old movie he watches?
Oh yeah.
I forget the name of it.
I couldn't even tell you. I have no idea.
But I honestly, when I was younger, I thought it was like a real movie he was watching, and it was just some kind of classic I'd never heard of.
Is it not?
No, it's a fake movie. They shot it like for this movie.
Wow! All this time I thought that it was like a real movie.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of a cool thing to know, and it does. I mean, because it does have that classic line and keep the change, you filthy animal.
Yeah.
Like no, they did it for this, so it's pretty cool.
Merry Christmas, you filth. Like that's an iconic saying, and it came from a movie inside of a movie.
Right.
Wow, that's.
And then I didn't know. I watched Home Alone 2 last year again recently, but apparently in that one too, there's like a second. It's like a sequel to this old movie.
Yes,
in that
it
one.
is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's all original to this.
Yeah. I guess spoiler. I did end up watching the second one after, because I was like, I just love it so much.
Oh, like after you watched this first one, you watched
I watched the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm ready to talk about both. So I'll do this. I'll do this solo.
Oh. Anyways, so then it cuts back to them on the plane, the family, and his mom's just sitting there like, something feels off. Like, I feel like I forgot something. I don't know what it is. And her husband's like, oh, like,
I forgot to close the garage door.
That was it. Like that.
Which I think is funny because every single time my parents and I like left for like vacation, we'd always end up having to turn back around because my dad was like, I forgot to close the garage door. I know I did. And we'd come back and it was closed. So like literally every time.
Yeah.
So I 100%
you get that.
Believe that one.
But for her, it was just like, nah, that's it. And then suddenly out of nowhere, it's like, Kevin!
She realizes, she's like, shit, I forgot
my son.
I forgot my son. Well, yeah, you locked him away in the attic.
Yeah, basically, like, you basically left him there to die.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
That's basically what it was. And now we're introduced to my fucking favorite two characters in this movie. In Marv and... I almost... what's his fucking name? Harry. Harry and Marv. It's like, I mean, yeah, this is a huge part of why I love this movie. Is they're so fucking funny.
They're hilarious. I love them. They are iconic. They make this movie.
Like just their personalities, like how they talk to each other. A lot, like already, it's just effortlessly funny. Especially Joe Pesci. Like, I know he's great in Goodfellas and all that. To me, this is his fucking.
This is the movie.
This is the movie I remember him for.
Standout.
To me, this is his standout. I don't give a fuck that he won an Oscar for that. This is. He should have won an Oscar for this.
Honestly.
Like, where is this?
Fully agree. It's iconic. There's no other word to describe it. It's so good.
Honestly, well, actually, this was the first time I saw him in, like, because obviously I watched this as a kid. I did not watch Goodfellas as a kid. So this is the first time I saw him. So before I even knew he was, like, all in these gangster movies, like, I recognized him from this. Like, I thought this was, like...
This was his movie.
This is his movie. But, yeah. But I think that what they do a good job is like as much as you do like find their characters funny, at the end of the day you're still rooting for Kevin. Yeah. Which is important because like
you have likable villains, but they're not like the villains you're like necessarily rooting for.
Yeah, because obviously like you're gonna root for the kid and like he's home alone.
But they certainly make it entertaining.
Make it entertaining as fuck. Yeah. Exactly. So then they land, the parents and the whole family
in
Paris. And she's like, you know what? I need to stay. Like, I need to.
Martha, je mange. Those are the only French words I know. I said hello. I said my name is Martha, and I like to eat. I think.
You know what would be funny actually? That you're speaking French. We should have watched this in French.
Yeah, obviously, because that makes sense. Yeah.
But like with English subtitles, and like that'd be like we watch. It's like we're watching Home Alone, the French version, and instead of there being in Chicago, we can pretend like he's getting Home Alone. And
Yeah. Genius.
okay, xenophobe. So I think it is very sweet, though. I will say how it is the mom who decides to stay at the airport. Like she's the one that's like,
She's like, I need to get home.
I need to go. Like y'all.
The dad's kind of like, man, we left your son at home. That sucks.
Sucks.
So, croissants, anyone?
I know. Like, can we just get some croissants and we'll call him?
Does not care about his son at all. He's not stressed.
No.
Which, like, I guess I understand in that it's like you want to be like, if your significant other is like freaking out, you want to be like a level-headed person at the moment.
But not to the point where you do not give a fuck. But it's also
that's your son, and he's 8.
Honestly,
and he's home alone.
Like no one would blame you if you were freaking out.
Yeah. Like the uncle does not seem bothered.
Oh, the uncle. Oh, the uncle.
So like, let him be the same person.
Well, even the uncle on the plane was like, I forgot my reading glasses.
Yeah, it's like not the same thing.
Not the same thing, dumbass.
This is a child. This is a life.
But I think that's obviously like she is the perfect character to set up like trying to find Kevin, because obviously like that whole thing about them happening.
Yeah.
Like it's like their relationship that's. She's wanting to fix.
She does a wonderful job of being a mother, I think. Like, she's like, yeah, she'll forget her son, but like at the end of the day, she just like she loves him so much, you know? And like even their interactions while they were still at the house was very like, hey, you did something wrong, understand that, okay? And he's like, now I hate you all. And she was like, okay, don't say that.
Yeah.
And she was very calm about it, and it was like,
this is like, you don't mean that.
You don't mean that. You know that you love your family at the end of the day. He's like, no, I don't. And he's being a little brat. And she's like, all right, fine, be a brat.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And she's very calm through it all. She's like, but just remember, like, you know, like family is family at the end of the day. And she wants to teach him that lesson. Ultimately, she takes Ellison a little too far.
Yeah.
even if
she next thing you know, she left his ass home.
Yeah. So she was like, you know. So, you know, I think overall, besides this minor blip and the blip in the second movie.
Yeah, they do it again.
I think she's
she's terrific. Leaving her son both at home in Chicago and I don't remember how he gets lost in the second one, but he gets lost twice.
Yeah,
she's a terrific mother. She's very caring. She's very on point as a mother. Mom. Like, it's very responsible. I
always like to give the parents the benefit of the doubt. Because
and the second movie didn't do that for you when she did it a second time.
Yeah, I gave her the benefit of the doubt a second time because again, she's a loving
America's
mother.
a land of second chances.
America's the land of second chances. Yes, exactly.
I will say though, like Kevin is doing a lot more on his own than I would have been doing at his age. Like,
yeah, because he's like, all right, so you know, I'm left home alone. I need a toothbrush because mine was packed away, and he's like, hygiene. Dental hygiene is important.
So, I would just let my teeth rot.
Yeah, I know you would. So he, you know, he's being the responsible kid he is. He goes and he's like, you know what? I need to go get, you know, this. I need to go get groceries. He buys himself like laundry detergent because he's like, well, I need to wash my clothes. Obviously.
He buys them that mac and cheese from the microwave.
Yes,
buys himself dinner.
It's adorable actually. Like the whole interaction at the grocery store. Yeah. He's a very smart kid. Yeah. Like there is no doubt about like, well, one, like the realism of this movie is not entirely there. But
at all.
However, they do establish that he is a smart kid, like far smarter than like any other kid his 100%. Age. So he is capable of like looking after himself.
Yeah. Which I think they do a good job establishing that by him like going for groceries and stuff, because then later on when he's like protecting his house, like it makes a lot more sense. Makes sense. It's not just random.
And like even there's a point when he first starts realizing people are trying to rob him, and like he like hides into the bed and he's like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just hiding under this bed like you know, like I'm scared, but I'm the man of this house now. I need to protect it. And like he has that moment where he's just like, all right, I'm an adult now. Let me defend my home.
And he has the same moment with that was in the furnace, I guess.
Yeah.
So at first he's scared of that fucking thing, and then I love the moment later on. I wrote it down here somewhere. I remember. Oh, he just got over his fear basically by just telling it to shut up.
Yeah. He was like, Kevin. He's like, shut up. And then he's like, oh, okay. Guess I'm
Yeah.
Mr. Furnace again.
So basically, but the thing is, so when he goes to get that toothbrush, first he's asking if it's ADA approved.
Of course, yes.
And then I don't remember what. Oh, he sees old man Marley come in the store and he gets all
Yes.
scared, so he runs away with the toothbrush, and they're like, shoplifter.
And now, and God forbid that a kid steals a toothbrush. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, at the time was probably like 50 cents.
Yeah.
So, like,
What are y'all really losing here? You're like,
so what's really the deal?
I really like. I think that toothbrush was their key to breaking even for the day.
Yeah,
like they
yeah.
wouldn't have lost money. But
Yeah.
that cop apparently needs to lose his job, because how do you not catch up to this kid?
Honestly. Oh, well, to be fair, it is Kevin. I think any other kid you would have caught, but like Kevin,
But he didn't even look like he was running very fast.
he was not. But he's a slippery little fox, is what he is.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, he does return, or actually before on his. I'm getting the timeline mixed up. I watched this like over a week ago. So
I finished this yesterday.
yeah. So this is why I'm relying on you to tell the plot.
Well, where did you think we were at?
Where he runs back into the burglars.
Oh yeah, well yeah, okay, yeah. Basically, so he's in his neighborhood and he almost gets hit by their van, but he remembers him because at the beginning of the movie he like flashes his gold teeth when he was disguised as the cop, and then as he's saying like run along in the van, like he does it again. He's like, oh.
He's like, hey.
And then he's like, I don't like how that kid looked at me. So they start following him, and they're like, he clearly knows something, or he's like running from us. I'm like, no, it's because you're making it.
because
you cannot make it more.
danger.
Yeah, and you cannot make it more fucking obvious you're following him.
Yeah, clearly. And you're two guys in a van, all right? You almost ran him over.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified too.
I know.
Like, come on now. So, but of course they read into it. I guess rightfully so, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he did know, like, who they
Right,
were and, like,
right.
what their plans were.
Which, they are called the Wet Bandits. I will say, I think with this beanie on, I feel like I kind of look like a wet bandit right now.
You do. You do. Yeah, you're the wet bandit. Congratulations.
Thank you. I've always wanted to be a part of that group, so this means a lot to me.
Okay, glad.
But basically, he decides to hook all this stuff up in his house to kind of make it seem like that he's not home by himself.
It's not, yes.
So that they don't rob the place.
He does a whole little party on the second night, which is very, very creative, where he's like pulling all the strings and everyone's, which like, how does he have that many like dummies in his house?
That's what okay. It's crazy how he does this all, because number one, how did he find that shit? Number two, how did he know what to do with that shit? And three, how did he put that shit together in such a fast time?
Well, again, we did establish that he's a smart kid. Like, at the very beginning of the movie, he was getting in trouble for making ornaments out of, like, his dad's fishing.
Yeah.
So, like, he's a very creative guy when it comes
That's
to,
a
like,
good detail. I
building
remember
things.
that, yeah.
So that's another detail that kind of sets up his character and kind of shows, like, it's possible.
Like, he can he just
can
messes
do.
with things, and yeah.
He's a tinkerer. If he was in the Tinkerbell cinematic universe, he would be in the Tinker Grove place.
What movies are you talking about?
Tinkerbell. You never saw the Tinkerbell
I
movies?
didn't watch them, though.
I watched every single one of them. And Pixie Hollow, that was my shit. I loved that game so much.
Please tell me we're not gonna do.
Oh, we are
one.
absolutely doing the Tinkerbell cinematic univere.
We could do like a whole marathon.
Honestly, I would not be opposed to that.
I know you wouldn't.
I would be so
I know
excited.
You're being serious. I love though the tiebacks they have to that old movie, like within a movie here, like when the pizza boy shows up, because basically, so what happened? He can't afford the pizza, basically, right?
Yeah.
So he's kind of just trying to scare him away so he can just leave the pizza and go. Yeah. And the way he times up the lines from the movie with everything is just
very good job.
So funny.
That. Yeah.
It's just good.
Scares the little kid away.
Yeah.
And also, another little note to add: that poor statue. That literally everyone who comes to the house
that's literally
knocks
me.
over.
So I started doing DoorDash a few weeks ago. That's literally me as a driver.
Oh my god!
I haven't knocked anything over seriously, but like I can imagine.
I could totally see that
happening.
Is the thing. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that poor statue for one.
Yeah. At that point, I was like, just move. Can you not just move the statue?
Move the statue. What even is it? Like what?
I couldn't recognize what it was. I had no idea.
Yeah. That statue, poor thing.
But I liked how they started to show like the longer he's been in this house, like like as much as it may seem fun to be home alone, like doing whatever you want, like you do start to feel like lonely being there on your own. Like you're not around anyone to share the time with, or your family or anything.
And especially around Christmas time. It's like he wants to have those moments. And he starts, putting up the Christmas decorations because he's like, well, I'm alone, but at least like I still want to celebrate Christmas. You know? Which is sweet, and it's sad. At the
Because in no way does he think like his. Also, I mean, the whole thing too is he's had no contact with his family because
Yeah.
they established the phone lines at his house are down.
Yeah.
So he has no way to contact them. So he doesn't know when they're coming back, if they're gonna come back.
Yeah. So he's out of the loop. He doesn't know anything about his family, but he just knows that, you know, if by some miracle they do end up showing back up, he wants to be prepared by
Yeah.
having Christmas ready for them,
Yeah.
which is so sweet.
It's sweet, it's a sweet little brat.
Sweet little brat. Sweet.
One little detail too about that whole scene with the way he's shopping for groceries that I noticed was the fact that he got all that stuff for under $20.
Yeah, well, this is also
1990. But I know, but like I wish.
I wish. Yeah, no, all that stuff and $100.
Yeah,
That's
easily.
HEB. Yeah.
That's like my whole paycheck and like right there. But he got it
pretty
all.
much. That's fun.
And then I love the little shot there where he's like walking home with the bags and they
Oh yeah.
just break.
It's like a kid going through a midlife crisis.
So
very soon.
so then cuts back to his mom and she's like trying to find a seat here to fly home and she's getting closer and closer and she lands in like Scranton or something and there's no flights till Christmas Day, so she's like no, we can't do that.
But here comes the polka
Wait, Polka King.
kings.
I've seen a little bit of John Candy's movies. It made me sad to see him in this. Have you seen him in other movies before?
I'm sure I have.
Well, the other movie that I've seen him in that I really like him in is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know. I think he passed very young, so that made me sad because he's I like him. He's funny. But so he's the polka man, and he's like, well, we all are driving to Milwaukee in our big truck.
Big truck van. thing.
So like we hear you're on your way to Chicago, like we'll bring you. So there she goes.
She goes.
There she goes again. But now when it comes to the Wet Bandits, they know this motherfucker's at home alone now.
As smart as he is, because he does trick them a few times.
He
right?
does. He just managed to trick them as long as he has.
As long as he has, yeah. But they eventually catch up to the fact that he is.
He is home alone.
So this is our time to strike.
But at the same time, he knows that they're coming.
Yeah,
And he
because exposition.
yes, he hears out the window and hears exactly what he needs to hear.
So our plan tonight, Marv, is
we gonna eat. Come back around 9:00. So okay,
9 o'clock at the dot. Did you hear that?
Did you hear
9 o'clock?
9 o'clock at the dot.
So it's like, well, no surprise there that he overheard.
Right.
So, but I guess it's good for Kevin.
So Kevin to be prepared. So, but before all that though, I love it when he sees the other family on Christmas Eve, and then somewhere my memory song's playing. It's just like that's what real Christmas feels like.
That's
so sweet.
That's
And
so
he wants
sweet
that with
and
his
so
family.
sad, and because he is. While there's the crazy antics that go on throughout the movie, the underlying tone is the importance of family and understanding that your family's always going to be there for you and you always got to love them and cherish them while you have them and
not taking them for
not
granted.
take them for granted, which he did, and he's now learned his lesson, and he's like, I want nothing more than to just have my family
back home. Yeah.
And have Christmas with them like we always did, and it's so heartbreaking to him seeing another family get to have that. And he wished his family away, so he's like, well, I screwed up.
Yeah.
That was on me.
And I feel like another way he learns this too is he goes to the church, and old man Marley shows up, and it's like, no, you ain't scaring him now. We're gonna talk.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna have a heart to heart.
We're gonna have a heart to heart. And by talking to him, we realizes, okay, this old man, he describes how he's there to see his granddaughter sing because he's no longer talking to his son. He can't see her. So then Kevin's like, well, talk to your son. Like, why don't we talk to your son? Because I'm afraid, like, he won't want to talk to me. Well, you won't know unless you try.
Yeah, exactly. This kid, wise beyond his years.
Well, yeah, exactly.
He's just, and he does it again in the second one, where he just gives, the perfect advice.
Oh, to the pigeon lady?
Yeah, but, from a kid's point of view, which I think is the most honest point of view you will ever get, is from a
That's fair.
Is from a child.
I think they do a good job doing that.
Yes.
What he's saying feels wise beyond his years, like you're saying, but it's not to the point where it's like
it's not.
He still
believable.
sounds like a kid.
He's still a kid.
Yeah,
and it's very clear in his anecdotes and how he frames everything, which is really sweet. And again, there is no better advice or better point of view than a kid, because a kid is so honest and they're naive and they don't take into account like all of the negative aspects that we all have learned growing up.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just it's nice to get his like point of view on it all.
Which I actually noticed too a few times they do that visually too. Like a lot of the shots are kind of lower and like kind of looking up as if it's like a kid's
perspective.
So they do a good job, I think, of doing that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sure.
So then after that, he's gonna get ready to defend this house. Like I don't know, out of nowhere, like the score kind of sounds like a little 80s for a second, but like kind of Christmassy too.
Christmas 80s.
I'm like, this is a banger, and that's how you know like we are ready to get to this house
He's got the
defending.
game plan on. He's got the blueprints of his house and like what's.
Oh yeah, I love the blueprint.
Yes.
Actually, I've seen that on like a T-shirt before, like randomly,
cute.
and I didn't like understand it. I was like, I guess they just made that up like just for the movie, and then I realized it's actually from the movie.
Yeah.
One thing I hated though before this happened though, I don't understand this, Kevin. Why did you not? I would have made time to make that mac and cheese beforehand, because he makes the mac and cheese, plops it down, is about to enjoy his meal, and it's 9 o'clock, so he just leaves it.
I mean, okay. Well, to be fair, I'm sure he had a lot of work to do.
I'm sure he did, but at least it takes like 2 minutes to heat up.
Yeah, but still, like he wanted
I mean,
to make
it
sure.
looked delicious though. That's why I was just so mad. Like honestly, okay, for myself, when I make the little mac and cheese cups, I put a little buffalo sauce.
That sounds delicious.
It's amazing. How do you do your mac and cheese?
Oh, I normally just make it with just mac and cheese. I put cayenne pepper in it.
Oh, okay.
Like other than that,
So we both like a little spice.
a little spice in there.
Okay.
Spice up your life.
That's fair.
Can't eat anything without spice. So
That's true.
yeah.
My favorite, actually, I've discovered recently, my favorite hot sauce that I use is this jalapeno Tabasco.
Ooh,
It's so good.
Interesting.
I put it on everything.
I like Cholula. That's mine.
Cholula. Okay.
Cholula.
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 Mana. Yeah, and just so then they show up to the house and he's got all these traps set up. They don't see any of this shit
And
coming.
here's the wacky antics.
Here's
the peak of this movie.
The peak of this is why we laugh at this movie from being kids, right? Like all the slapstick. But
Yes.
I was really trying to think about like why it works in this movie and why in other movies I find it so annoying when this kind of stuff happens. Number one, I think with Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, like they completely go for it.
Yes.
With their physical, like the comedy.
Their reactions to it. They're very yes.
And they look natural doing it. Like it's not. It doesn't seem like they're forcing it. It's just like the.
Because it still has that like outrageous, cartoony, slapstick comedy like aspect to it, but it also is like if you get knocked in the head, you're gonna go down. Like,
right.
You know?
Yeah. So to me, that all worked, and then also. An issue I have when you see in other movies is like they just kind of put slapstick in there for no reason. Like it's just trying to be a stupid joke. It's not no reason here. Like they've shown multiple times throughout this movie how, especially with how Kevin set up the house earlier.
Because there is no way that you're gonna have like a hand-to-hand combat between a child and two grown men.
You're not gonna.
So like this is the only possible way that it could happen.
Exactly. You're not gonna get some big action set piece or anything. Like this is he's a kid. Like he's gonna. This is what he's gonna do. And then like also using that old movie to like scare them away and different like it doesn't just randomly like start happening where he's able to come up with these clever plans. Like these plans have kind of been established. Like are any of them realistic? No, but at least in this movie they've shown that he's capable of doing this.
Yes.
And obviously like if they're gonna try to rob the house, like he's gonna protect his house. Like the fuck, like he's gonna do everything he can to protect the place. It's not believable in the slightest, but it's fucking funny. Who cares?
It's funny and
who cares?
It's
and then
cute.
especially with Marv and Harry, like how they're responding to it all, and the fact too that I just think it's so funny how I feel like if I was a robber in their position, like after that first trap or whatever he sets up, I would have just left.
It's not worth it.
But they keep going.
They are persistent
as hell.
Yes,
and I admire it. It's fucking funny. My favorite laugh out of all of this for me is when they finally get upstairs and I forgot which one is which. Marv is
the tall one.
Yes, okay. He grabs onto his leg and you think he's gonna get caught for a second, and he reaches and reaches, grabs the spider and puts it on his face, and that scream coming out of his mouth is like the last noise I ever thought I was gonna hear. But it's so amazing.
Yeah,
it's so amazing.
It's great. Yeah, after everything they've been through, it's just like the cherry on top.
Yes, it's just so good
because they like struggled for a very long time to even get inside the house.
Yes, because how many how many even different traps were there? There was
There was the ice on the steps on both the front and the back.
Yeah.
So they couldn't even get into the house. There was the doorbell, no, the handle, door handle.
Oh, the handle. He
heated it up.
yeah. So burned his hand.
It burned his hand. There was, when he did finally open up the back door, there was the
blowtorch?
The blowtorch to the head coming through the window. There was the ornaments.
So he stepped on them, and then for him the iron.
And then the iron when he got through the basement.
Then when they get in the house, the buckets of paint coming up the stairs.
Yeah, and then there's like the whole. There was. I don't know. There was tons.
There's a lot. It was so many.
So much going on, in each one of them was just hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
so
and
good.
they are tough to make.
That's what I'm
it do
saying.
all of that.
Oh, you mean like who's tough? You mean like
The robbers? Like,
Oh,
they're-
whoa, yeah,
they're
yeah. I
resilient.
admire their perseverance, like I said, because, like I said, after slipping, I would have just been like, "Ugh, my back would hurt too
Like,
much. I go
oh,
home.
no.
Forget this.
No.
And honestly, they probably could have left and they would have been fine. Like they would. Okay, I do have a quick question though. So there is a moment where he like goes to the phone and he says in a deep voice like 911, like I'm getting robbed. He wasn't actually. Was he actually calling them? Because
Yes.
the phone lines were down. They established.
Oh.
So was he just saying that to try to still convince them that he wasn't home alone?
No. Wait.
That was kind of my confusion
Oh.
because I'm like, is that a plot hole? I don't know because like they establish the phone lines are down. That's why no one's been able to reach him. He can't, because obviously like if the phone lines were up, he could have just called the cops.
Yeah,
But because he can't, like he does all this.
that's fair.
So I was like, did he just do that to try to convince him again that he wasn't home alone? You know what I mean? I don't know.
They wouldn't have heard him, so I think.
Yeah, I don't
think
know. I don't know.
They did say. Well, how were they able to call and leave voicemails to the neighbor's house if their phone lines were still
It
down?
was just their house, like their phones, because they were like, oh, we'll call the neighbors and
Oh. Okay. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about it earlier, and I was like, maybe she knows,
okay.
but
Yeah.
we're both just
I think
confused
we're
and
both
dumb. That's fine.
confused, yeah. Let's blame it on our brains and not the beauty of this movie.
Exactly. I'm good with that. Yeah, but I love them constantly berating each other. I mean, it's more so Harry to Marv, but I think it's so funny.
Like, you dumb
Dumb.
love is what it is. This is.
It's like, shut up, Marv. And then some of the lines that they're saying throughout all this is just so funny. Like when they look out the window because he kind of ziplined himself to the treehouse, and he's like, "Where'd he go? Maybe he committed suicide."
Yeah.
It's like,
He's so, yeah. So.
and then he's like, "Maybe he's calling the cops from a treehouse."
From a treehouse, yeah. He's just so stupid. It's great.
I know. I mean, I don't know. I fucking love Joe Pesci because he's like, "What are you scared, Marv? Are you scared? Are you afraid?" I love
The chemistry between those two characters
It's perfect.
is perfect because at the end of the day, you know that they're not gonna leave each other
No,
behind.
they're not.
You know, so they're at least like
Yeah,
strong.
Even though
in
you
their
think that Harry might leave Marv, I don't think he would.
He would never. He would never.
Never.
That's his bestie. That is his bestie,
That's his
for the
bestie.
restie.
There you go.
So yeah.
Which I actually was reading that so Daniel Stern plays Marv, and initially he was cast, but then he dropped out because I think shooting the movie was going to take longer than expected, so he wasn't able to do it. They brought in another actor, but the chemistry with him and Joe Pesci wasn't right.
Wow.
So they brought him back.
They had to.
And like,
I'm glad.
come on.
I could not say this movie with anyone else.
Yeah, it's
They
like
were
the
perfect.
perfect together. Then honestly, for a second, I was getting scared because he's like, he like goes across to Marley's house and he's like, oh, like come get me. And they're like, no, we're gonna find another way.
It wasn't Marley's house. It was the other neighbor's house because it was flooded. So that means that the robbers had already hit them.
Oh, they already hit the. Oh yeah, you're right.
But Marley was across the street and was watching.
Right. Okay, got you. So, he gets in the house through the basement and opens the door, and boom, they're right there. They anticipated him
his
finally
next move.
after all that for once, right?
He finally learned.
And honestly, for a second, when I first saw this movie, obviously, I was a little scared for him.
Just like, no, he's just a little kid. You can do this.
And he's like, I'm gonna bite your finger. Like,
Yes.
we're gonna do to you what you did to us.
Yeah.
We're gonna light you on fire. We're gonna hit you. And then, old man Marley comes up, saves him.
Bonk.
Pretty quick way to end it. A little disappointed by that. I was like a little anticlimactic, but for sure. saves him pretty quickly. Bonks.
Bonk, bonk.
Being bong.
Bing bong.
And they basically they put him in the car and they're like, what do you want to tell Joe Byron right now?
Yo, baby, let me take you out to
Dinner. It's like trying to do anything they can to get under arrest, to get out of custody. Can't do it. No, but that's all over.
Yeah.
And then Kevin, now he's saying his goodbye to the bandits, like out the window.
Yeah.
Bye.
Which I like that, like, after everything, he doesn't even bother talking to the police. Nothing.
I was gonna say, I was gonna technically, wouldn't the house be a crime scene?
Well, because he brought them into the other house. The cops had no clue what was happening in the other house. And he does not tell anyone about it.
Not even his parents.
Not even his parents.
When they get home.
No one knows. No cops. No family. No one
Nothing.
knows. He keeps it to himself. What? If that were me, I would give some serious street cred, and I'd be like, guys, you won't believe what I just went through
on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And my parents would shower me with attention like never
absolutely.
before. Like,
I would hold this over their heads
for the rest of my life. First of all, you left me home, and I almost died.
I almost died because of you.
I had to protect this house my damn self.
Yes, exactly. Because of me, you guys still have a nice
exactly.
You have nice things because
of me. Right. But no, he wants to be humble. That's fine.
I suppose.
So next day, his mom finds her way home. Mm-hmm. And then the whole family, right after that, surprisingly, comes home. They found a flight.
Yeah, because the whole time they were like, all right, so the plan is either you can like wait here and try and find like another seat home, and that's what she does and takes like all these bunches of flights.
Right. Or just wait till tomorrow afternoon and you'll get a flight home.
You'll have your flight home. And she was like, I'm not waiting. And then they ended up getting home at the same time.
They got home like right after her.
He was like, well, if you would have just waited with us.
Yeah, but none of that matters. I mean, it's cool that the family's back. I don't give a fuck about that. The old man.
Yes.
He looks out. Oh, Kevin looks out the window. He sees him hugging his son.
So sweet.
His granddaughter. Like,
He learned that family. It is important.
It wasn't just him that learned about the importance of family. It was old man Marley.
Old man Marley. He learned too.
Like that's the fucking Christmas ending we deserve.
That is Christmas.
That is a damn Christmas movie.
That right is there. Mary Chrysler.
And that is that's Home Alone. Yeah. So
wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful
I mean,
movie.
for all those reasons, I really enjoy this movie. It's my favorite Christmas movie. I will say for me, what comes close to this is probably Elf. Just in terms of the last one.
That's my favorite home.
I totally get that. It's my girlfriend's favorite one too. And I will say though, last year I did see Die Hard for the first time. That's up there too. Have you seen Die Hard?
I have not, but it
is I think it's a Christmas movie. I think it's a Christmas movie. I totally consider it a Christmas movie, and I think I do want to watch it again before the end of the month because that honestly could
we could definitely do.
We could do
because it is a Christmas movie.
It is. We'll see. We'll see. No, but obviously I've loved this movie since I was a kid. Just all the humor in it is just amazing. That's what got me into this since I was a kid, but the heart in it too is all really special. So this movie's just pure Christmas.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think it's that heart that's within this movie that makes it such a classic and that still stands to watch it every single year. And it's like once you've like grown up and you're like, the slapstick like comedy of it and them bumbling around. It's funny.
I still think it's funny.
I mean, I still chuckle all the
something
time.
else with Joe Pesci too is when he's all mad, he's like mumbling. It's so funny.
So it's just like those aspects of the movie, like while that's what grabbed your attention as a kid, and it still grabs my attention now. I'm not gonna deny that. But I think it's like actually being able to like understand that the heart of the movie is about family and like loving your family, and that's what just really
that's what makes it Christmas.
That's what makes it Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas is family. Yeah. So I think it's great, and my family, we love Christmas here.
Does your family love this movie?
My dad does. My dad loves all things Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So give him any Christmas movie and he's going to love it.
Even the bad ones?
Even the bad ones. He will watch them over and over again. He is like, as soon as actually, we started decorating for Christmas before Thanksgiving.
I think a lot of people do that, actually. That's becoming more common.
Yeah, well, because my dad was like, no. We need joy. Please.
Halloween is over. We're done with spooky.
Yeah, spooky season is my mom's, and that's our holiday.
Yeah.
Christmas is my dad's.
Okay. I respect it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, On that note, do you have any final thoughts, or do you want to go into your score for this?
I gotta think about a score. Oh, didn't think about this. Okay.
You think about that?
Okay, I think I have a score.
Okay.
I think I have a
Or
score.
do you want me to go first?
No, I'll go first.
Okay. What's your score for
All
this?
right, I'm giving this an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 for me as well.
Cheers!
Very high 8. Yeah. This movie's just. This is it for
It's
Christmas.
iconic. It's like one of the best Christmas movies.
Yeah.
This one and the second one.
The second one is also very good.
I love.
Nah, I don't like it quite as much as this one, but it's still very, very good.
It's very good.
Yes.
I love New York.
I think we know why you love it. All right.
I
Well,
don't, because every experience there has been terrible. I've had panic attacks. I've gotten like almost hypothermia.
You love the idea of New York.
I love
better
the
than
idea
actual
of New York, and then actually being there is always a nightmare.
I understand it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for our discussion on Home Alone. Our next discussion, which is also coming this week for y'all, is our next Christmas movie as well. This is another iconic one, and we're very excited to talk about that. Martha?
I'm actually not excited to talk about it. Okay, it's a terrifying movie, and by saying those words, I guarantee that everyone listening knows what movie I'm talking about, and that is
Do they?
yes, because this is the most terrifying Christmas movie to ever exist.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Just say the title.
The Polar Express. Mm-hmm. Scary.
I cannot wait to feel it. Well, I know why what you're talking about, the movie that terrifies you, but I want to hear you talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm very excited to
we
hear
will
that.
have great conversation.
I'm sure we will. So yes, our next movie is Polar Express, that is streaming right now on HBO Max. And that episode will be coming very, very soon because we were trying to play catch up in December. But now we actually have the time to do it.
Yes.
So that will work out very well. So yeah, check us out on all audio streaming platforms. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Inner Wider Screen. You might be thinking, now that we have more time, I'll be posting more often.
Yeah.
Probably not.
No.
No.
Yeah, don't expect much out of
Don't
it.
expect. I'm not gonna say never, but don't.
Never say
Never. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Inner Wider Screen. Like I said, we just hit 30. So if you want to join the club,
Join the club. Yeah, we gotta like come up with a name for our
Do we?
fan base. I don't know, like screeners or something. Widers.
widers, the wides, ins.
It's a work in progress.
Work in progress, y'all. But if you have any ideas, let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all we got for this week. Anything else for you before we head out?
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Bye.